Great sportsmanship means being humble in victory and gracious in defeat.
You're going to be champion again.
Nice one, appreciate that.
And although some people might not think it, boxing is a sport that more often than not promotes sportsmanship.
Two extremely classy fighters.
These are great sportsmanship moments in boxing. In one of the best fights of 2018, Murat Gassiev stopped Junior Dorticos in the 12th round.
Dorticos is being punched to a standstill. Eddie Claudio keeping a close eye on the proceedings, and he is knocked through the ropes. And Eddie Claudio calls it off immediately.
The defeat was the first of Dorticos' career, and at the post-fight press conference, he was struggling to answer questions from the media and eventually broke down in tears.
What is going through your head now? Are you disappointed, or can you look back on the fight and be proud?
In a great show of humility, Gassiev went over to console Dorticos. After the press conference had finished, in a further display of real class, Gassiev went into Dorticos' locker room and gave him back the WBA belt he had just lost. Although the 1999 Fight of the Year between Johnny Tapia and Paulie Ayala started with some pushing, it ended with one of the best embraces. After the fight went the full 12 rounds, both men came into the centre of the ring and lifted each other up to salute the crowd.
It's a very, very close fight. It truly is just the way the judges see it, and that's it. But boy, let me tell you, they got to do this again. They got to do this again.
Well, it all started with a skirmish in which Tapia, before the bell, went and shoved Ayala. Now they look like the best of friends. As we continue to await the dramatic decision.
And after Ayala was given a unanimous decision victory, Tapia, who was beaten for the first time in 46 fights, showed class in defeat and admitted that the better man on the night won.
If you thought I lost the fight, I lost the fight. I'm not a poor loser. I give all the total respect to Mr. Ayala. He was in great shape, I was in great shape, and the better man won.
In 1987, Nigel Benn was building up a reputation as an exciting puncher with a perfect record of 10 wins, all by knockout. In his 11th fight, Benn faced tough journeyman Ian Chandler. In a don't blink or you'll miss it moment, Benn stunned Chandler in the opening 5 seconds of the fight.
Expecting British boxing at the moment. Nigel Benn in the golden trunks, and that is one.
With Chandler being held up by the ropes and the referee being too far away to intervene, Benn showed great restraint and class and pulled away from inflicting further damage.
Nigel Benn, who has now won 11 out of 11, is a fearsome prospect.
In 1997, Gennaro Hernandez challenged Azuma Nelson for the WBC World Junior Lightweight title. After the bell at the end of round 7, Nelson landed an accidental punch to Hernandez's throat.
Here comes the champion, a left hook. Down goes Hernandez at the end of the round. He'll have to beat the count. No, they were saying it was after the bell sounded. It was after the round. They're taking a point away from Azuma Nelson, and Hernandez is in trouble. Now listen for the bell when it sounds. That's a full 2 seconds.
Hernandez went down and was hurt and was told by the officials that if he didn't want to continue, he would win the fight and the WBC title by disqualification.
Lawrence, quickly, now, what did you see? What rule did you enforce?
There was a punch after the bell. I deducted a point from Nelson. Hernandez has 5 minutes to recover. If Hernandez can no longer continue, then Nelson will be disqualified.
After being given a 5-minute rest, Hernandez decided that he didn't want to win by disqualification and chose to fight on, showing not only great sportsmanship, but courage as well.
This is unbelievable, and certainly he is showing right now he is no Luis Santana or Juan Koji. No, he is going to go out there and fight.
They were concerned about he wanted to win it all the way, legitimately, and not take it that way.
I think it's a mistake by his corner. If I were his manager, I would not allow him to fight after taking a punch like that, and especially since he's up about 5 points in this fight. He's got the championship. It's a lot of money involved. I wouldn't do that. His legs look very wobbly right now.
All right, 8th round after he was battered in the throat. Now Gennaro Hernandez will try to get this fight back to boxing basics.
Hernandez would eventually win the fight by a split decision and become a 2-time world champion. And in a sporting gesture, post-fight, Hernandez put the WBC title around Nelson's waist. In what was the 2000 British Fight of the Year, Michael Ayers took on late substitute Wayne Rigby for the IBO lightweight title. In the 10th round, Ayers had Rigby badly hurt and almost out on his feet, but instead of going for the finish, Ayers showed compassion in the heat of the battle and allowed Rigby to walk back to his corner, and the fight was ended by mutual agreement.
He's looking in trouble, big right hand. Referee takes a very close look at Rigby, who needs the bell. He's got 20 seconds to go. He could be stopped here, Rigby. Ayers is inviting the referee to stop the fight, and he's walked to his corner. It's over. He has nothing left. Wayne Rigby and Michael Ayers there in a compassionate act in the middle of a heated battle like that, stood up and let him walk to the corner to retire. What an extraordinary ending to an amazing fight.
The thing is, two fighters, I mean, the referee, full respect to this referee, the class referee, but two guys can tell when you're so close in there with each other and your heart and soul's on there, you can tell there's a point where you can tell. And I didn't want to hurt this man anymore.
I think that was terrific. I think that was, I mean, it just caught the spirit of the whole fight.
In 1972, Esteban de Heyzeus became the first fighter to knock down Roberto Duran and the first to defeat him.
Both have terrific records, and there is Duran down, believe it or not. The winner is Esteban de Heyzeus, ending the victory streak of Roberto Duran.
In 2 brutal rematches in 1974 and 1978, Duran knocked out de Heyzeus both times. In 1989, 11 years after their final fight, Duran flew to de Heyzeus' bedside in Puerto Rico after hearing the news that his former rival was near death after contracting AIDS through sharing needles.
Here's this guy was dying of, AIDS in bed, he was just thin, and Duran grabbed him from the bed and he says, "Tú siempre vas a ser mi campeón. You're always going to be my great champ," like that, and tears coming out of his eyes, and at the time, the Puerto Rican people never liked Duran because he was always beating up on the Puerto Rican fighters and calling things out to the Puerto Ricans, and Puerto Ricans didn't like Duran very much, but after that day, he became a star in Puerto Rico too because it showed the people what a great heart he has and what a great human being he is.
A month after Duran's visit, de Heyzeus passed away, aged 37. In his 2008 autobiography, Hands of Stone, Duran recalled his emotional final meeting with de Heyzeus. Duran said, "When I see him there so thin, my tears run out because he used to be a pretty formed, muscular guy. I start crying, and I hug him, and I kiss him, and I tell my daughter to kiss him."